Hello and welcome to your real estate show with thanks to Harcourts. I'm Rachel Williams. We've got a big show lined up for you tonight. We're very lucky to be joined in the studio by Michael Bailey from the TCCI. He's going to be talking about how the recent real estate boom in Tasmania is impacting on business and development across the state. We also have an in-depth look at some of the hot spots on the East Coast as part of our regional profile with thanks to homely.com.au. And in our lifestyle segment, we revisit Riverstone House, an amazing property at Relbia, which is taking shape, and that's thanks to Snooze Launceston. But first tonight, we're going to go through a house in Westbury. It's an area that's certainly booming of late as it proves an affordable choice for people searching for the regions. Let's take a look. Hello, I'm here in Westbury today, an area where only 6 properties have sold over the course of the last few months. I'm with Daryl Smith from Harcourts Meander Valley. Hello, what sort of property have you got for us today?
Hi Rachel, thank you for coming. We have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, modern rustic with a Art Deco feel. It will definitely suit people just coming into the market, room for couples to spread out, but also plenty of room for a young family as well.
Okay, and it is a really tight market at the moment, isn't it, here in Westbury?
It is very tightly held, you're right. There hasn't been a lot on the market, so competition is high. So for anyone wanting this property, you're going to have to jump in really quickly. Okay, well I'm going to take a look through and then I'm going to meet you back here in this beautiful little afternoon porch area and we can discuss price. Great, I'll see you back here.
Thank you. I'm loving how this room really blends the old and the new, the beautiful exposed box ceiling, beautiful timber floorboards, and just a really nice spacious feel. So the kitchen is certainly farmhouse rustic cute. It is tiny and perhaps in need of a little bit of TLC, but it's certainly usable. The whole place has a really special farmhouse vibe to it. It's quite lovely. A 2nd bathroom and 3 really good sized bedrooms, and the main bedroom is pretty special. So separate from the main house, out in the backyard is this little bungalow. Perfect if you run your own work from home business or you want to send the kids out to play. You're looking very comfortable here, Daryl. It's a lovely property, certainly a few bits and pieces that could be improved, but overall a lovely spot.
You're right.
What are you asking for it?
We're asking $395,000 or best offer over. So we're thinking we will easily achieve that, but it does leave the window open for a potential $400,000 sub offer.
Okay, so it's going to be a tight bidding war. Give you a call at Harcourts Meander Valley. Tasmania's economy has rebounded particularly well after those pandemic fears. And to discuss more about what is happening across the state in terms of business, we're lucky enough to have in the studio Michael Bailey from the TCCI. Welcome, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Rachel.
All economic indicators are showing that Tasmania is going gangbusters.
Yeah, look, aren't we lucky? The state has really bounced out of COVID really strongly, and you know that's on the back of some great state government policy and federal policy too. But I think the world's woken up to Tasmania. I think not only do mainlanders want to move here, but we're hearing so much interest out of people from overseas too. So it's a pretty exciting time to be in Tasmania.
And how does that impact on business? Because obviously there were some nervous moments there during the height of the pandemic, but things are still continuing and there's lots of economic development underway.
Look, there really is, and we're hearing across our membership that for most it's really still strong. So there are certain areas that are going to be a battle for anywhere in the world. You know, things like party hire places and events for a little while, but really for most business in Tasmania it's going well. And what we're seeing too is a lot of development still happening around the state, and that development will really drive the economy in Tasmania for years to come. Things like the Bridgewater Bridge in Hobart, and the Living Cities program in Devonport, plus also the university move in Launceston are great examples of things that are really happening. But also, the big stuff like Project Marinus, that when that gets up, which is the second interconnector across Bass Strait for energy, we'll see the Northwest Coast boom for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, so that's big news for job
Huge.
creation.
Yeah, huge.
And there's also some other key projects occurring on the Northwest Coast.
Look, it's interesting on the Northwest Coast. We're seeing the resurgence of really smart forestry. So there's a new forest or timber mill going into Burnie that will be terrific. But I love the story of the Northeast and of mountain biking, how that's changed the Northeast dramatically. And look, I was there on the weekend and saw how many people with mountain bikes are going through, how the property market's changed there as well. That, towns that you couldn't give property away some years ago, now are going so well. So it's a great time.
And in the north, obviously, the university project is significant for transforming Launceston. What about down south in Hobart? What's happening there?
Look, there are a lot of things too, and certainly the university itself is doing a lot of movement in Hobart too. Their STEM project, which will be a massive undertaking in the CBD, is moving along quite nicely. But the Bridgewater Bridge, I know it sounds a bit boring, but
we've talked about it for such a long time.
I know, but look, that will be the biggest project in Tasmania. We'll see not only huge amounts of revenue go through the local market, but once again we'll see the local economy boom. But look, Hobart's one of the most livable cities in the world now. It's a city that people right across the country want to move to, and it's got a pretty impressive housing market as well. So it's now about to move above Brisbane as one of the hottest markets. So it leaves, I think, only Melbourne and Sydney for us to track down next.
Well, I'm sure we're tracking for them. And just finally, obviously the budget coming up, we're looking back in a deficit, but not as bad as what perhaps the predictions were first and foremost.
Without a doubt. Look, Tasmania's done very well, and every state in Australia and every country in the world is looking down the barrel of deficits. We know that because of COVID. But Tasmania is doing a lot better than we thought it would do, and certainly even the Premier was speaking at an event with us last week and saying how proud he is of how they're bouncing back so strongly. So good times for Tasmania looking forward as well.
Are you asking for anything in the budget in particular?
We always ask for things in the budget, Rachel, you know that, and we have a hit list of things we'll be asking for the next one. Don't worry about that.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing what that is in more detail soon. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael. Michael Bailey joining us there, and I'm sure we'll have him back to discuss more things in detail into the future. But now it's time for a regional profile with thanks to homely.com.au. On tonight's regional profile with thanks to homely.com.au, we're visiting the beautiful east coast of Tasmania, and we bring in Heidi Howe from Harcourts St Helens. Hello Heidi, tell us about how things are tracking on the beautiful east coast of Tasmania.
It is absolutely beautiful today, Rachel, and things on the east coast right up and down the coast are doing really well at the moment. It's exceptionally busy in real estate, buying and selling obviously, but also huge demand in our rental market.
Okay, well, let's start then. Obviously, St Helens is probably the key area across the east coast, is the hub of business and economy there. The median house price up 3.1% to $330,000. What's your predictions with that?
I can see that the property prices here are continuing to grow. I can't see them continuing to jump as much as they have in the last 12 months because that was just incredible. But there's certainly massive demand and properties are selling a lot quicker than they ever have. Our time on market is basically down to 7 to 10 days before properties go under contract now, at sometimes the longest.
Wow, I bet you a few years ago you wouldn't have believed that.
Oh, I know my principal who I was working with, she said I had some properties and vendors she was dealing with for 7 years before their properties sold. So definitely a nice positive change from that.
And a little bit towards the coast to beautiful Bennelong Bay. That's obviously a tightly held market.
Very tight. And anybody who puts their property on the market at Bennelong Bay, if it's got a view, it's gone the same day.
It's amazing, and we can see there the top sale price was around $650,000 last year. So what do you see with prices in that area?
Yeah, again, there's massive demand in Bennelong Bay. People want to be by the beach, they want to be by the water and have that coastal lifestyle, and they are paying an absolute premium for it at the moment.
Yeah. And then finally also to Scamander. That surprised me. That's gone up 21.4%.
Of course, I live in Scamander, Rachel.
But there's lots of development happening there as well that might help with that, isn't there?
There are some subdivisions going in here, and they're very sympathetic to the surrounds as well. They're just not tiny little blocks of land. But also with Scamander, that a lot of people obviously put focus on St Helens, but Scamander has a beach, and it has a very usable outdoor area, and people do really enjoy living here and really enjoying that coastal lifestyle.
Well, you're certainly lucky to live there. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to have a chat to us about what's happening in the beautiful East Coast area.
Thanks, Rachel.
That was Heidi Howe there from Harcourts St Helens. It's now time for our lifestyle segment, and we're going to be bringing you that with thanks to Snooze Launceston. At the start of our series, we showed you a beautiful build at Relbia called Riverstone House, and it is nearing completion, and we were lucky enough to go back on site this week to take a look. Well, I'm with Steve Minchin from Minchin Construction. You and your boys have been on site since June last year. Amazing progress here at Riverstone House. You must be really thrilled.
Yeah, happy. It's coming along really nicely. Starting to actually see what its end product's going to look like now. So getting a few claddings on with the spotted gum and yeah, it's starting to look really nice.
The spotted gum is beautiful. It's actually going to change colour as it gets sun on it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll turn to like a silver grey, especially being the rough sawn. It'll be a really nice texture when it's finished, I think. So yeah, it'll take quite a bit of time to weather, but this bit here is the first bit we put on, so that's starting to weather quite nicely already.
And that will complement with the other textures around the other parts of the house?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So we've got some nice, well, the architect's designed some nice dark colours in the other bits, so that'll sort of make that stand out nicely and blend into the site really nicely, so.
Yeah. And we're in the garage, which is actually going to be painted totally black. Tell me a little bit about some of those colours that we're going to start to see being put on over the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, Phil's designed pretty basic colour scheme, which works really well, I think. So this one will be dark and the entryway will be dark. And then when you come into the main hallway, it opens up into a white hallway to give it bigger space. But yeah, I think it'll look very classy with those dark colours and quite a simple colour palette.
And when we come back next time, when it's finished, we'll be able to see some really interesting other features. Tell me some of the key things that everyone probably wants to have in their house, but these guys actually are going to have.
Yeah, well, like I say, we've got the custom hinged garage doors. They're pretty cool feature. Not a lot of people have those ones. So got a servery window from the main kitchen area out into the beautiful entertaining area, which is going to have a built-in wood fire outside and a built-in barbecue. And yeah, laundry chute from upstairs to downstairs is quite a nifty feature, I think, from the bathroom.
In the beautiful living space as well, there's going to be a pretty special feature there with the fireplace.
Yeah, so at this stage you're looking at a custom folded steel plinth for the fireplace to sit on, and then the fireplace is a big feature in the main room.
And Steve, this is your biggest project since you started your construction company. Tell us a little bit about some of the other interesting behind the scenes features that you've had to incorporate into the building that perhaps people might not actually totally understand.
Yeah, well, it's a tricky one, this one, because of all the funny angles. Like, it's definitely a strange angled building, and all the roof isn't your standard way, so every sheet of roofing iron's had to be cut top and bottom to get the right angles, custom folded gutters.
And even little things like you were saying, the cavity sliders for the children's bedrooms.
Yeah, so they're all the custom size. Really large units, so get lots of light from the hallway into the bedrooms. But yeah, it's all custom ordered and all the jams are custom made, and so yeah, it's been good fun. Love these tricky ones.
And something a little bit unique as well in the bathrooms with the brass features.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the tile trims and little bits of shelving and whatnot are all going to be brass to trim all the tiles off. So we haven't used them before, so that'll look quite nice, I think.
Well, we look forward to coming back. You're under the pump. You need to have it finished by April.
Always under the pump.
Fantastic. We will come back and have a look then. Thank you so much for your time.
No worries, thank you.
Yeah, it's certainly been wonderful to see that project come to life. We're looking forward to the housewarming, that's for sure. Well, that's all we have time for tonight. Thank you so much for your company. Don't forget you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube and on Instagram. I'm Rachel Williams. Bye for now.